Hello students, welcome to our object-oriented programming using Java. Last class we discussed about the general concept of our syllabus. So this paper we will basically focus about Java programming language. Hope you people have copied the syllabus as I have posted in the classroom app. This is the syllabus goes like this. To start with, we will start with the introduction part of Java. Java comes under the concept of object-oriented programming language. If you can remember, we have studied C programming already. In our first semester, we call C program as a structured programming language. But when it comes to Java, we call it as an object-oriented programming. Why the concept of object-oriented programming comes means object-oriented programming are designed in a such a way that we can reuse the code and the efficiency of the program, and each and every logic in the program will be taken as an object. Okay, so here Java is a full-fledged 100% object-oriented programming. We have already discussed about C in our first semester, that was a structured programming. Another programming language which comes under the concept of OOPS is C++. Then the C++ also has a combination of both object-oriented and also it has a concept of a little bit of structured programming, and a full-fledged object-oriented programming approach was designed for Java programming. We will discuss about these concepts in the upcoming slide. So just before moving into our concept, we will just see the difference between a procedural. Procedural means structured programming we are talking about versus object-oriented programming. So we have a procedural programming means it has a top-down approach. Top-down approach means, if you can remember, in C program we will start main. After main it will come and say initial declaration will be there int a comma b comma like that. Then it will read the statement. Then it will input the value. Then it will calculate. Then it will print the result. So from the beginning it will come step by step. So if I can execute like that, then I call it as procedural language. And in object-oriented language, focus is given for object rather than the top-down approach. It's not going to come line by line. Here it's focused upon based on the object which has been created. And in terms of procedural languages, reusability is limited, but reusability concept is there. If you can remember, we use a concept of function. What is concept of function in C procedural languages? If you can divide a bigger program into small module, we call it as a function. So here also reusability is there, not to the extent where object oriented programming language can support. So here code reusability is there. And then here when it comes to procedural languages, here complex coding is there. So coding part of is going to be the complex part, and here it comes to, rather than the coding, the way we design our object oriented is going to be complex. So designing part is going to be complex, and here it is global data as focus. That means everything is considered as an global data. Here we can use protected data. Protected data means I can decide my data whether it can be accessible to everybody, then I will declare it as public. If I think only within my coding my program has to be accessible, then I can declare it as private data. Apart from that, we have like a default, protected, like that varieties of data protection modules are there under object oriented programming. So this is the general difference between a procedural language and object-oriented language. Understand? Example for procedural language was C and all, and object-oriented language will be Java. Okay, this is the general difference between an object-oriented language and procedural language. When I call it as OOPS, so object-oriented languages, in a short term we call it as OOPS concept. So when we say OOPS concept, so already I told you, when it's an object-oriented concept, the benefit is reusability. So when we talk about OOPS concept, the main point which has come into our focus is these points. So why people prefer to use is reusability, I said. So how we can reuse the data is based on these kind of key factors. Okay. So one of the main key factor why we call these concept as OOPS concept is abstraction. Abstraction is if I can hide my required information and display only the information, accessible information to the user, then I call it as abstraction. For an abstraction, we can take an example of your internal marks. You get an internal marks out of 30, how much you are scored. But internally, within the department, if you can come and verify, for 30 also, we'd have divided your marks into attendance, assignment, test, performance, like that. But to the user, you are the user, you will see only the 30 marks part of it. You don't see how it is being divided. So abstraction is a concept where we don't going to show you all the aspect of it. We will hide the information, and which is only required will be displayed. That we call it as abstraction. Even when it comes to abstraction, one more example we can give is our ATM card. See, so much of information bank will have about us, so many details it will collect and keep. But when you use your bank facility in your ATM, if you can see, it won't show your account number also. Just you insert a card, it will ask you for a pin. If you know the pin, enter the pin, it will have an option whether you want to withdraw, deposit, like that. According to your transaction, you do the transaction and print the nowhere else it will show your account number. Sometimes in certain banks it will show your name but not the account number. Even account number displayed, it won't show the entire number. The last 2 digit or 3 digit numbers only will be there. This is a concept of abstraction. So hiding and required information, we call it as abstraction. That is one of the key concept of OOPS. Next is encapsulation. Encapsulation is combining many things and putting inside a capsule. Have you seen tablet? Tablet and capsules. Tablet means it will be like a solid one. Capsule means it would have been enclosed into a small plastic like substance, and small dot things will be there. Usually when we are not well, we used to take. What they are doing, the small medicine, they are putting it inside one thing. So encapsulate means when I can combine many things and put it inside together, then I call it the concept of encapsulation. Then polymorphism. Poly means many, morphism means forms. When I can develop a programming language within a many forms, then I call it as a concept of polymorphism. Inheritance. One of the another key factor of OOPS concept is inheritance. Inheritance is a concept where in general, in biological term, I think most of your biology students, you know, the inheritance means the characteristics of things. Your characteristics of a father would have come to you, characteristics of your mother would have been with you. So one generation character will be continued in another generation. Same way, when I'm writing a programming, I can use one particular function character. I can use one function character to another function. That means we will be able to reuse our program. So inheritance is a concept where when I can take a characteristics of a parent methods or functions into a child method or a function, then we call it as inheritance. About these concepts, we will study in detail in our further topics. So when we say OOPS concept, you should remember these four: abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. These concepts will help us to reuse our OOPS logic. So we will next, that was a basic for understanding. Understand Java is designed in the concept of OOPS. That's the reason we have discussed so far. And the quick revision of history of Java. Java was introduced by James Gosling and team. And this team is called in June 1991. This team was called Green Team. And before Java was introduced, before giving the name Java, they designed for a different names and all. They were planning for different names. The first name they wanted to keep was Green Talk, and then later they named it as Oak. But there was already a company called Oak Systems. Since there will be a patency problem and other things, so they decided and kept a name called Java. And the key feature of Java is, and I think I have given in the thing, Java is used as internet programming. So I can use a Java programming for in designing internet-based application, mobile device. That means we can use Java programming for designing a mobile-based application, games. So we can use Java for game designing, for any e-business solution, etc. So one programming language, we can use it for a multiple modules. That is a speciality of Java. See, when we come across a C program and all, we use for only a system-based programs, not for internet-based or mobile devices. We cannot design using C program. But when it comes to Java, we can use it for many applications. That's the reason, see, 1991 they have introduced. Now we are in 2020. Still there is lot of recruitment for Java programmers. So now a lot of scope is there because it has encloses a key feature of internet programming, mobile programming, gaming, e-business solution, other things. So that's a key feature of Java. This is a quick history about Java. Some of the main features of Java we will discuss. It is platform independent. Platform independent is one of the speciality of Java. What I call it as platform independence is, here's the role of operating system comes off. Last semester, I think you have studied about operating system. In operating system, we have studied about Windows operating system, Linux operating system, Unix operating system, and other things. Usually when they design a software or other things, depending upon the operating system, they will use, even you can remember, no, see, apps will be, it will ask whether it is Android app or Mac app, like that. So any app I design, I have to design based upon the operating system. So if I'm using Android operating system, Android based, so my app should support Android based operating system. Like that only they will design. But when it comes to Java, Java is a programming language which can be used under any platform without any changes. So I can type the coding in a Windows operating system. I can execute the same coding in the Linux operating system. So we call it as it is a platform independent. Next is object-oriented programming language. That's what we saw in our second slide. It is a logic of object-oriented programming. So once again, I tell you, whenever the word object-oriented comes, means what are the concepts it includes? It has data abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. And it is a very strong programming language in built. And one more feature is it is interpreter and compiler language. Usually programming language will be interpreter based or compiler based, and this is a programming language which has both interpreter and compiler. If you can remember, interpreter means, see, we write a program in English, but computer can understand only machine language. So what we do, what we type, whenever we type a program in English, we compile it or we execute it. While executing, what happens, our English statement will be converted to machine understandable language. When we convert our English statement to machine understandable language, when I can convert line by line, then I call it as interpreter language. Otherwise, when I can read the entire program and then convert to a machine understandable language at a stretch, then I call it as compiler language. A C program comes under a compiler based language, and a Visual Basic comes under interpreter based language. But Java is a programming language which has the feature of both interpreter and also compiler based. And it has automatic memory management. Once again, this is also usually this and all is taken care by operating system. Memory management, I think last semester you have studied about memory management, how to free the space, what is called garbage collection, how memory will be organized, how to fragment the memory and all. But all these things will be taken care by Java. See, a programming language is going to take care of an operating system work. Usually memory management, OS will take care, but this is a programming language which will take care of its memory management. These are the major feature of Java. Our next topic is, we will see the difference between C programming language and Java programming. C is platform dependent. Platform dependent means when I write a C program in an Windows operating system, I should execute only in Windows. The same program cannot be executed in a Linux operating system, I need to modify certain code. Syntax and all will be same, but the execution, the way I have done certain codes, I need to modify. But when it comes to Java, it is platform independent. And C support go to statement, and this side Java does not support go to statement. Remember, in C program we have go to statement, unconditional jumping statement we call, but in Java we don't have. And C, we have a concept of pointers. If you can remember, pointer is a concept which has the address of another variable, but Java does not have a concept of pointers. C support concept like structures and union. In Java we don't have a concept like structures and union. C only used as a compiler language. Java is used as a compiler and interpreter both. C is mainly used for system programming. Java is used for application programming, Windows-based programming, web-based programming, enterprise and mobile application. So wide range of application we can do using Java programming. We use a concept called size of operator to return a size of a value. Of a binary value, we use size of operator. Here does not have a size of value. We have a signed data type and unsigned data type in C. But here we don't have the concept of unsigned data type in Java. We have some features like auto, extern, register, variable concept and all in C. In Java, we don't have all these things. And C is call it as procedure oriented language or structured oriented language, and this we call it as object oriented. And every C program we will have a preprocessor like #define, #include. Here it does not have any preprocessor directive. These are some of the common difference between a C programming language and Java programming language. And then when we discuss about C++ and Java, C++ you have not maybe not studied, but anyway, just understand the concept. And C++ also is an object-oriented language. C++ support pointer and Java does not support pointer. In the execution part of it, C++ is more of compiler based. Here it uses the both concept of compiler and interpreter. That's the point you are coming to tell you. And as I said, it is machine dependent. It is machine independent. It uses only compiler. It uses both compiler and interpreter. It has a concept like operator overloading. We will discuss about what is called overloading in our upcoming classes. But Java does not support operator overloading. Understand, Java support overloading, but Java does not support a concept of operator overloading. In Java, we have a concept called thread that's not there in C++, but in Java, it is there. Thread is a concept. You should know what is thread. No, at the same time, when I can execute multiple activity, like a process we will study. At a time, multiple processes are executing. We would have studied in operating system. Same way, in the same time, when I can execute a multiple thing, then I call it as thread. One example for thread is, see, when you are playing a game, you could see a moving of a thing. Voice will come, audio will come, animation will come, text will come. Your point score will run one side. Like that, multiple effects have been executed simultaneously. That we call it as thread. Internet support is not there in C++. In Java, it has. Does not Java. Actually, here in C++, it supports header files and all. Java does not include header file and all. Here we use a statement called input. Once again, here we have go to statement. Here we don't have a go to statement. Here concept of operator overloading is there. Here we have a method overloading. No operator overloading concept is there. Here it support unsigned integer. Java does not support unsigned integer. So this is a difference between C++ and Java. So today's class, if you can recollect, we started with introduction to Java. We started with what is OOPS. Some of the features of OOPS we saw. Then we discussed about history of Java. We discussed. Then we moved on to what is the key features of Java. Then we discussed two questions. One was about difference between C and Java, and another is about C++ and Java. Okay. Along with this, since it's going to be a YouTube session for you, I will, based on these topic, only today's session, I will send a online quiz in the classroom app. Those who are attending the online quiz, anyway, if you would have attended this lecture session, only you will be able to answer the online quiz. those who are attending the online quiz will be given attendance. Thank you for attending. We will meet in our next session.